For years, the new Yankee Workshop wasn't just a television show. It was a quiet revolution. At a time when fast-paced entertainment dominated screens, this show slowed everything down. It invited viewers into a warm, wood-scented workshop where craftsmanship wasn't rushed, mistakes were part of the process, and creating something with your hands felt not only possible, but deeply meaningful. At the center of it all was Norm Abram, a master carpenter with a calm voice, steady hands, and a teaching style that made even the most complex woodworking projects feel approachable. Week after week, he transformed raw lumber into beautiful furniture, cabinets, and timeless household pieces, all while explaining each step with clarity and patience. For many viewers, Norm wasn't just a host, he was a mentor, even if they had never picked up a tool before. So when the new Yankee Workshop quietly came to an end in 2009 after over 2 decades on the air, it left fans wondering what really happened. There was no dramatic scandal, no sudden cancellation announcement that shook the industry. Instead, the show simply faded away, leaving behind a legacy and a lingering question: why did it end? To understand the real reason, you have to go back to the beginning. The new Yankee Workshop first aired in 1989 as a spin-off of This Old House, the home improvement series that had already introduced Norm Abram to a national audience. Viewers had seen his skill, his calm demeanor, and his ability to explain complex construction work in simple terms. It didn't take long for producers to realize that Norm could carry his own show, one focused entirely on woodworking. From the start, the concept was simple but powerful. Each episode would feature a single project, built from start to finish. There were no gimmicks, no artificial drama, no rushed edits designed to keep attention spans from drifting. Instead, the show trusted its audience. It assumed viewers wanted to learn, to watch carefully, and to appreciate the process. That trust paid off. The new Yankee Workshop became a staple of public television. It attracted a loyal audience of hobbyists, professionals, and everyday people who simply enjoyed watching something being made with care. In a world increasingly driven by speed and convenience, the show offered something different, a reminder that good work takes time. But as the years went on, the media landscape began to change. Television was evolving rapidly in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Cable networks were expanding, and new types of programming were emerging. Reality TV exploded in popularity, bringing with it a faster pace, louder personalities, and a focus on drama over detail. Even home improvement shows began to shift. Instead of slow, methodical builds, viewers were shown dramatic before and after transformations completed in a single episode. In this new environment, the new Yankee Workshop began to feel like a relic from another era. It wasn't flashy. It didn't rely on emotional storylines or competitive tension. It was just Norm, his tools, and the work. And while that simplicity was exactly what longtime fans loved, it also made the show harder to sustain in a changing industry. One of the biggest factors behind the show's end was funding. As a public television program, the new Yankee Workshop relied heavily on sponsorships and underwriting. Unlike commercial networks, it didn't have the same advertising revenue streams. Producing a show like this, complete with a fully equipped workshop, high-quality tools, materials, and a skilled production team, was expensive. Over time, securing consistent funding became more challenging. Sponsors were increasingly drawn to shows with larger audiences and more mainstream appeal. A quiet woodworking program, no matter how beloved, didn't always fit that model. At the same time, production costs continued to rise. Technology improved, audience expectations shifted, and maintaining the same level of quality required more resources. For a show that was already operating within the constraints of public television, this created a difficult balance. Another key factor was the rise of digital media. By the mid-2000s, the internet was transforming how people learned new skills. Platforms like YouTube were beginning to gain traction, offering free, on-demand tutorials for everything from basic repairs to advanced woodworking techniques. Suddenly, viewers didn't have to wait for a weekly episode. They could search for exactly what they needed and watch it instantly. This shift didn't just affect the new Yankee Workshop, it impacted educational programming across the board. The show's format, which had once been its greatest strength, began to feel less essential in a world where information was available anytime, anywhere. There was also the question of longevity. By the time the show ended, Norm Abram had been hosting the new Yankee Workshop for over 20 years. That kind of consistency is rare in television, and it's a testament to his dedication and passion. But it also raises a practical reality: no show can go on forever. Hosting a program like this wasn't just about showing up and speaking to the camera. It involved designing projects, preparing materials, demonstrating techniques, and maintaining the physical demands of woodworking itself. Over time, it's natural for priorities to shift. Norm never made a dramatic announcement about stepping away, but it's clear that after decades of work, the timing felt right. Rather than pushing the show beyond its natural lifespan, it was allowed to end on its own terms. There's also something important about the way the new Yankee Workshop concluded. It didn't collapse under pressure or fade due to controversy. Instead, it simply reached a point where continuing no longer made sense financially, culturally, and personally. And in a way, that quiet ending was perfectly in line with the spirit of the show itself. Even after its final episode aired, the influence of the new Yankee Workshop didn't disappear. In fact, it arguably grew stronger. A new generation of woodworkers began sharing their work online, many of them inspired by Norm's approach. The emphasis on careful technique, clear instruction, and respect for the craft can still be seen in countless videos and tutorials today. Norm Abram himself remained an important figure in the woodworking and home improvement world. His association with this old house continued, and his reputation as one of the most trusted voices in the industry remained intact. For many, he represents a standard of quality and integrity that's increasingly rare. Looking back, it's tempting to search for a single reason why the new Yankee Workshop ended. But the truth is more complex. It wasn't just about ratings or funding or changing technology. It was the result of multiple forces coming together at the same time. Television was changing. Audiences were changing. The way people learned was changing. And the show, true to its nature, didn't try to reinvent itself into something it wasn't. Instead, it stayed consistent. It remained focused on craftsmanship, clarity, and authenticity right up until the end. And maybe that's the real reason it ended. Because the new Yankee Workshop was never designed to chase trends. It wasn't built to compete with fast-paced entertainment or viral content. It existed to teach, to inspire, and to celebrate the art of making things by hand. Once the world around it moved in a different direction, the show didn't follow. It simply stepped aside. There's a certain kind of respect in that. In today's world, where content is constantly being reinvented to capture attention, the new Yankee Workshop stands as a reminder that not everything needs to change to stay relevant. Sometimes, the most lasting impact comes from staying true to a simple idea and doing it well, over and over again. For those who watched it, the show wasn't just about woodworking. It was about patience. It was about problem solving. It was about taking pride in something you built yourself. And those lessons don't disappear just because the cameras stopped rolling. If anything, they've become even more valuable. Because in a fast-moving world, there's still something powerful about slowing down, picking up a tool, and creating something with your own hands, just like Norm Abram did, one piece at a time.